GoForThe2.com. I'm back with a great matchup in the Pac-12 between the 2-0 Arizona State Sun Devils and the undefeated Stanford Cardinals. It's a rematch of last year's game in which Stanford got the victory on the road in Arizona, 33-14. A little bit of a different matchup this year. I'm going to give you some news and notes about both sides of the ball. I'll give you my prediction for this ball game Thursday morning up on the website NCAAblitz.com and GoForThe2.com, so check that out. Let's talk about Arizona State right now. Under Todd Graham, offensively exploding, averaging 43.5 points per game. They have a very good quarterback in Taylor Kelly. He's only a junior. He's a little bit undersized, but has a very good arm, throwing for 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's very nifty too, outside the pocket, has good feet, completed over 63% of his passes, and he has a very good running back in Marion Grice. When you look at Arizona State, they like to spread you out, run between the tackles, and Arizona State could give Stanford a couple of issues on defense. Different team than last year. They were a little bit more finesse in Todd Graham's first season as head coach. This season, a very good offensive line protecting Taylor Kelly and opening up the running lanes for Marion Grice and the staple of backs that the Sun Devils do have. So a little bit of a different type of offense than you saw last season from Todd Graham. They did get the victory last week, a little bit of a controversial victory against Big Ten opponent Wisconsin. They gutted out a 32-30 victory. They were behind for most of that ball game, pulled away late in the fourth quarter. Now they travel on the road against a very physical, top-ranked defense in the Stanford Cardinal. Let's look at the Arizona State defense, though. Only giving up 15 points per game and very opportunistic in the takeaway department, creating +3 in turnover margin. They do create turnovers, and they score off their turnovers, and that's going to be a key characteristic going up against the Stanford Cardinal on the road. So keep that in mind. When you look at Stanford's quarterback, Kevin Hogan, he hasn't lost in almost a year and a half. They did gut out a big victory at West Point last week. They got an early start, didn't play very well early, came on late in that ball game. They ran away and beat the Cadets. Now they travel back home to face a Pac-12 opponent. A little bit different defense, though, when you look at Stanford this season, giving up a little bit more rushing yards, averaging 159 yards per game in terms of the rushing defense. That's been a little bit higher than years past. And in terms of creating sacks over 2 ball games, they only have 4 sacks on the year, an average of about 2 per game. When you look at last season, they were averaging about 4 sacks per game. So a little bit different defense from Stanford, a little bit less aggressive. So how does that match up going up against a very explosive offense in Arizona State? We're going to have to see. In terms of takeaways, not very aggressive in the takeaway department for the Stanford Cardinal. They're a -1 in turnover margin. So if they can't create turnovers against Arizona State, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the offensive line and Kevin Hogan. So we're going to have to see how this game develops. I'll give you my prediction for this ball game Thursday morning up on the website NCAAblitz.com and GoForThe2.com, so check that out. You could also check out my weekly radio show on blogtalkradio.com, the NCAA Weekly Blitz Show. Check it out. Stay with me all season long. College football is the best, and I can't wait to give it to you.